Hey everyone, what is going on and welcome back to today's video. In today's video we're going to be doing something different. We're going to be going over tips I can give you guys to help improve your rank. Now this video's main purpose is going to be helping you make that push from gold to plat, but these tips can definitely come in handy for anyone pushing out of copper to bronze, bronze to silver, silver to gold, or gold to plat. Now me myself, I'm not a diamond player. I'll show you my stats on screen right now. These are my credentials. I have a 1.3 KD this season, holding plat for every season since Burnt Horizon. And yeah, I'm a bit hard stuck plat as you guys can see, but I definitely know what I'm talking about when it comes to getting to plat. Don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to getting to diamond, so if you're looking for those type of tips, make sure to go check out another channel. And this is what I have to say. So I'm going to be diving into 8 different tips to make sure you guys can push up your ranks as best as you can and utilize your playstyle as best as you can no matter what you do. And then a little tip at the end that's going to help you out if you're a solo queuer. That's about all I have to say, so other than that, let's jump into the tips and I hope you guys enjoy. So starting off with our first tip that I can see that a lot of golds don't do as much and lower ranks don't do as much as say a plat would, it's droning. Now, if you guys have been watching videos before this, you've probably already seen this before, but I'd just like to reinforce it to you guys that your drone is your best option. And the main thing that I'm referring to is your first drone. Your first drone is the one you spawn in with. A lot of people around gold, including me, I do this all the time as well, but if you send your drone in early and it just gets destroyed, that's a waste of a drone. You ever find yourself in a situation where you have your second drone, you throw it, and it gets like instant destroyed when you're droning out someone off-site, and then you're stuck with no intel for the rest of the round? Yeah, you don't want that. So you want to keep your second drone as much as you can. Try and find the objective, yes, but you can basically hear where they are, and if it's a specific map, you can probably just guess where they are anyway, depending on your rank. Most people, like say on border, go armory lockers first. There's just no question. No one really changes it up unless you get to the higher ranks. So you can normally predict where they go, and if not, just send your drone in lightly and just try and look for where people are rotating, reinforcing without getting it destroyed, and try not to ping. That's another thing that'll keep it safe. And then once you've got that second drone, just make the use of both of your drones. Drone out where you're pushing, keep both of them for you. Try and help your teammates out as well. Obviously, if you have communication, if you're solo queuing, it's a different story. But just use those drones as much as you can because they are your best asset when you're attacking. I can promise you that. Your drone is probably very underrated to you right now, but it's definitely the #1 thing that keeps you alive and it gets you kills as well. So I recommend you guys drone as much as you can, and that'll definitely help you out in the long run. Now diving into tip number 2, it's going to be my little tip on teammates. Majority of high rank players have a squad. Just think about it. If you see a pro team, they obviously didn't solo queue their way to the top of the table. They made friends, they pushed up their rank, and that's how they got there. Now I know this isn't accessible to everyone. I know everyone doesn't have a team. Some people are young and all the older people are toxic. I understand that. And the older people don't like playing with younger people because they can't stand them. There's all of that other stuff. I don't know why people are always so directly mean to people that aren't like specifically good to them. People are just like that. I know you can't do anything about that, and Siege is definitely a very toxic game, and it's definitely something you have to try and work around, but I recommend you try your best to get a team. Now the one bit of help I could give you guys is I have a Discord. The link is in the description if you guys are interested in joining. There's always people there looking to squad up, and if you guys can join, then there's definitely going to be more people looking to squad up and help each other out. So that's the best tip I can give you, just to join the Discord if you would like. But other than that, you can use looking for posts if you're on Xbox. I'm not sure if PlayStation has something like that. There's Moot, the application that's been going around lately that can find you teammates. And obviously just playing with people and making friends. Try and be friendly. Don't be a little toxic bitch. Try and make friends. Try and work your way around that and find people your skill level that you can push up your ranks with. Because teammates are the #1 importance in really ranking up, and you really want to find as many good teammates as you can so you can consistently have a stack. Me, myself, I'm lucky if I have a 3 stack, and that's why I'm hard stuck plat right now. I do not have a consistent 5 stack. Half of the time the people I play with don't even have their mic on. They're too busy talking to other people, stuff like that. If you can get a consistent 5 stack of your skill level, you will go places, and as long as you can make that happen, trust me, your rank will definitely, this is probably the best tip on the leaderboard. This will make your rank go up a lot. Now diving into the kind of the iffy ones, and the first one's going to be Recoil Control. This is more individual skill. This is going to help you get your kills if you like to play a fragging and support even in that situation. So the best way to practice your recoil control, now me myself, I'm on Xbox, so I'm going to be giving you the Xbox strategy. I'm pretty sure PC has all of these alternate applications that can just warm up the game. We don't have that, we're Xbox, and this is going to be in-game tutorials on how you can improve your accuracy. Now the first thing you want to do is, obviously everyone already knows, is Terrorist Hunt. Terrorist Hunt is the best way to warm up your aim before a game, and it can definitely help you get your aim on point. I do this every time before I start playing ranked on servers. And yeah, just warm up your aim as best you can, and I recommend that you do it on hard. Now, I'm not sure if this goes around the community much, but I do my terrorist hunts on hard because on normal, obviously, it warms up your aim, but the terrorists are brain dead. They don't shoot back, they hit no shots, and that's pretty unrealistic if you ask me. The terrorists in hard are still brain dead, but they're not that smart like in realistic that they spawn outside and ruin the whole experience. On hard, they still shoot, they just shoot back, they hit some of their shots, but you still have to just clear them out. So I recommend you do the regular terrorist hunt strategies, do one through first and make sure you can win it by just killing all of them without, and then the next one, try one tapping all heads, try and get your head accuracy as best as you can before you jump into rank. And then the third time, just practice what you haven't been working with. Like, just play with it, play around with it, just try and get your accuracy as best as you can before ranked, because that's going to help your individual experience, and especially if you're solo queuing, you're going to need that fragging capabilities to pick up your team, especially if you're solo queuing at a lower rank. But that's my number one tip to give you on Recoil Control. Just try and do as much terrorist hunt as you can. I know it's a pretty basic tip, but for console players, we don't really have all of these other mechanisms to warm up our aim and our reaction time. So just get into terrorist hunt, play that for 20 minutes, half an hour, longer if you are dedicated, and just try and warm up your aim as best as you can. And if you would like to warm up your game sense, which is also recommended, I'd jump into a casual game as well just before. Just play one round if you don't have much time. Just try and get your head in the game against playing against real people. Obviously, terrorist hunt kind of whips you up a little bit because they're all dumb, but you know what I mean. Now, the fourth tip to getting better is going to be map knowledge. Map knowledge is like a very crucial thing, especially when you're working with team, because it leads to callouts and all that. And map knowledge is just going to help you out in a lot of situations, so you know where you're going, you know rotations. So if you get into a gunfight with, say, a Jaeger on coastline in penthouse when the objective's billiards, he might rotate down a hatch down to kitchen. You just have to listen for those sound cues, and you'll know if you know the map, you'll know where he's going. If he drops the hatch, you know he's in lobby, and if you're playing a fragging operator, you can push the hell out of him. If you're shooting him from VIP and he's in penthouse, you obviously, if he doesn't push you and you hear him run off, you know he's going to hit 90 corridor. He's either going to push towards baggage or he's going to come towards you 90 hallway. So you just gotta know your maps like that. The best way I can recommend you learn this is just go into a custom, obviously with the map of your choice that you're trying to learn, and just look around. There's under the little compass down the bottom of your screen, it tells you what the room's called if you would like to learn callouts. Just try and memorize that as best as you can, and obviously just rotate around and around and just try and learn the map and where you're going so you can counter rotations and stuff like that. And this kind of leads into the next point, which is going to be keeping your game sense high. Your game sense is just your IQ, really, like what you think about, what your strategies are when you get into certain situations. You just have to keep this IQ as best as you can, and I don't know, IQ kind of just comes with playing the game and experience, so I'd say just try and play the game as much as you can. That's the number one tip for getting this better. But your game sense just comes naturally. You'll eventually get it the more you play the game. Game sense is just gonna upgrade. You're gonna start hearing more things. You're gonna know what sounds are. You're gonna know like what gun it is when it shoots, what gadget's getting used when it gets shot, all that. Game sense is gonna keep your knowledge high, and you're gonna have a much more better chance of surviving if you have your high game sense. But having a high game sense will definitely help you in the long run, and the best way to get this is obviously experience. But just try and play the game, try and learn all your surroundings, try and learn your maps, your recoil obviously, and all this is going to combine together to improve your game sense. And once your game sense is quite high tier, your game level will just pick up instantly, and that'll definitely help you out in the long run. Now, diving into our seventh point, it's obviously going to be your mindset. I've gone over this in a previous video of mine, but your mindset is very key in Siege. If you're thinking down, you're going to play down. That's just how I've been. I used to think very negatively of teammates. I still do think negatively of teammates, to be honest, but negatively of my playstyle, my impact, like what I'm doing for the team, and you can't think like that. If you're in a ranked game and you're having a bad game, you got to keep your head up. Keeping your head up is the number one thing to bouncing back and playing a better game next game or next round. Mentality is very important in Siege, because if you think down, it's going to really trigger your brain and you're not going to be focused on the game, which is going to lower your game sense. When your game sense lowers, your play sense lowers, and that's when you start missing shots, choking situations, and just pissing off everyone on your team, especially if you're in a gold-silver lobby where majority of them are toxic. You need to keep your head in the game and focus on the game until the end. If you would like to take a break after that game, that's understandable, but you need to keep your head in the game until the very last minutes. No matter how bad you're playing, still try and contribute to the team. If you're not fragging, play a support. Bring a thermite on attack if you need it. Bring a mirror on defense if you need it. Try and just work with your team so you can pick the best operators for you and support your team as best as you can. And if you are fragging, just keep your head high. Like if you're dropping 10 kills in 6 rounds, you're going to get clouded. Obviously, you're going to think you're having a pop-off games, but don't get angry at yourself if you die and you're not carrying the team. It's not your fault. If you're carrying 10 kills in 6 rounds, obviously your team's not the greatest anyway, and you're just taking all the kills. You just got to keep your head high throughout these games and try not to get angry at the game. I know it gets the best of it sometimes. I'm a little bit of a rager myself in certain situations, but you just have to keep your head high and try your best to stay focused on the game, and that'll keep your mindset right and it'll keep your gameplay right. Now, tip number 8 is going to be your operator choice. Now, there's obviously support and frag. This is for attack, and on defense there's anchor, roam. Now, depending on how you're playing, this can definitely impact your playstyle, as I outlined last round. If you're playing a bad game, anchor if you're on defense, and if you're playing a bad game, play support on attack. If you're playing a good game, frag on attack. If you're playing a good game, roam on defense. But it depends on your playstyle. You can still play good games while playing support and anchor. It just really depends on how you want to play. So you have to find that playstyle. Like, if you guys prefer to be aggressive, I recommend you play a fragging roam operator. If you guys are patient, you like to play passively, I recommend you play anchor support operators. Examples of support on attack is Thatcher, Thermite, Twitch, all of those operators that bring utility to team to get those reinforced walls open, hatches open, and all that to benefit your team. An example of an anchor on defense would be a Maestro, an intel-based operator, a mirror, an anti-plant, stop push. Examples like that is what would get you a anchor role, and an anchor is just someone who sits on objective essentially, but there's multiple different ways to do that. And then an example of a frag on attack is an Ashe, a Zofia, people who like to push the hell out of people. And then an example of your roamer is obviously Jaeger, Mozzie, Vigil, Ella, all that. All the people who just roam on complete weird angles of the objective on the other side of the map, who just shit on you when you're not expecting it. That's why I say you should utilize your drone at all times, because you never know where they're hiding. And yeah, just try and find your playstyle. Just play some games of casual, maybe, I don't know, play some games of ranked even, and just find what you like doing best and what you're best at doing. That'll definitely pick your operators well. And if you can find your role in the team, it's definitely going to benefit your playstyle, because you'll know what you're doing. You're not going to be lost. You're not going to know who to pick. It's just going to help you completely, and you're going to find your operator and your skill balance. And that's going to be my 8 tips, but obviously for final, we're going to be jumping into solo queue tips. Now, I don't have many of these, that's why I didn't make a completely separate video on it, but when you're solo queuing, try and play as individually as possible. Take all of these tips I've just given you into account and try and combine them together so you individually can play your best performance. If you're solo queuing, you can't really blame your team. It's your fault for searching alone. So if you want to solo queue, you have to try and perform individually. So when you're solo queuing, a lot of people complain about their team, but then themselves are going 2 and 4. That's not acceptable, obviously. If you're going 2 and 4, you're benefiting to the team, but you're not carrying. So you can't just shit on your teammates if you're not carrying. That's the way I see it. And solo queuing is just a complete disaster in itself. So obviously everyone does it because sometimes we have to. No one's online, no one to play with. But when you solo queue, you just have to try and think as much as you can individually, unless you're on a 4-stack team that invites you to their party and you can get some communication going, then play the team. And don't get me wrong, don't be selfish. If no one's playing Thermite on a map like Border, bring a Thermite, help out the team. Don't be a dumb team who's just going to play Ashe, Zofia, Capitao, Habana, and who else knows, and just shoot everyone in the head instead of actually opening walls, because half the time that doesn't work, especially if there's some crackhead on the other team. But in solo queuing, just my best tip is to always play as individually as possible and try and frag out if you can. If you can't, play support and frag out doing that. And that is my tips on how to get plat basically as quick as possible. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and make sure to join that Discord if you are looking for teammates to join. The link is in the description. If the link doesn't work, there is a code, capital D, lowercase c, capital P, capital J, capital E, capital C, capital T. Put that code into your join server section and that will get you into the server. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed these tips. I hope I helped in some way, shape or form. I hope you guys can all get plat. I'm going to go hop back into ranked and try and get diamond, even though I'm hard stuck plat. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.